Have you ever heard of this building in New York? The Titanpointe, the NSA's spy hub in New York, hidden in plain sight? It was built to be a fortress with no windows, and it's the most guarded, protected building on U.S. soil. It is so secret, nobody knows anything about what goes on inside. Think about that. Other than we know that they basically are the NSA working with the FBI, but as far as looking at the inside of this building, I'm going to share with you how secretive, how secure this building is. And before we get into this, I want you to understand something about this building. It's located at 33 Thomas Street. Did you hear what I said? 33 Thomas Street. If anyone knows anything about the Freemasons or the Illuminati, they know that the 33 is their number, right? It's one of their big numbers, 33. But what's even equally interesting is when you count up the 33 with the two words Thomas and Street, you get 666. Think about that. You think they didn't know what they were doing when they named this street and when they put this building on this street? Titanpointe. Now, let's take a look at how secretive this building really is, okay? Let's just take a look here. This was, by the way, documents obtained by The Intercept from NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden do not explicitly name 33 Thomas Street as a surveillance facility. However, taken together with architectural plans, public records, and interviews with former AT&T employees conducted for this article, they provide compelling evidence that 33 Thomas Street has served as an NSA surveillance site codenamed Titanpointe. This building is owned by AT&T, which is also Lucent Technology. Lucent, people. Lucent Technology. Okay. So let's go look at some interesting things about this. I found this very interesting once you get down towards the bottom here. Let me go ahead and get rid of these get rid of this text here. That way we can So, let's take a look. When traveling to Titanpointe, NSA employees are told to hire a cover vehicle through the FBI, especially if they are transporting equipment to the site. In order to keep their true identities secret, while visiting agency employees are instructed not to wear any clothing displaying NSA badges or insignia. Why so secretive? Upon arrival at Titanpointe, the 2011 travel guide says agency employees should ring the buzzer, sign in, and wait for a person to come and meet them. The Intercept visited 33 Thomas Street and found a buzzer outside its entrance and a sign-in sheet on a desk in the building's lobby, which is manned by a guard 24 hours a day. There are also parking bays in front of the skyscraper designated AWM, a traffic code for federal agencies. A 1994 New York Times article reported that 33 Thomas Street was part of AT&T's giant worldwide intelligence network, which is responsible for directing an average of 175 million phone calls a day. Thomas Saunders, a former AT&T engineer, told The Intercept that inside the building there were at least 3 4ESS switches used to route calls across phone networks. Of the first 2, one handled domestic long-distance traffic, and the other was international gateway, said Saunders, who retired from his role at the company in 2004. The NSA's documents describe Titanpointe as containing foreign gateway switches, and they state that it has a rimrock access. A rimrock is an NSA code name for 4ESS switches. The NSA's documents also reveal that one of Titanpointe's functions is to conduct surveillance as part of a program called Skid Row, which focuses on intercepting satellite communications. That is a particularly striking detail because on the roof of 33 Thomas Street there are a number of satellite dishes. Federal Communications Commission records confirm that 33 Thomas Street is the only location in New York City where AT&T has an FCC license for satellite earth stations. This is quite a crazy building, to put it lightly. So the design of the 33 Thomas Street was John Carroll Warnick, was one of the most prominent architects in the U.S. between the 1960s and 80s. His high-profile projects included producing designs for the U.S. Naval Academy in Maryland, the Hart Senate Office Building in Washington, D.C., the Hawaii State Capitol in 1962. President John F. Kennedy's administration commissioned him to preserve and restructure buildings at Lafayette Square across from the White House. And following Kennedy's assassination, he was asked to design the president's eternal flame and gravesite at Arlington National Cemetery. He also helped construct a new embassy complex in Washington for the Soviet Union. Did you hear that? In which the Soviets claimed they found eavesdropping equipment embedded in the walls. But it was not only governments that trusted him, this architect, who died in 2010, aged 91, with major construction projects. He cultivated a close relationship with telecommunications companies to possibly help by family ties to the industry. His father-in-law had been a director at Pacific Bell, a California-based A&T subsidiary. In the 1960s, he was asked to design a telephone exchange building for Pacific Bell in Oakland. He would subsequently receive a series of other major commissions from AT&T. Aside from the 33 Thomas Street building, he also designed a telephone exchange in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and an AT&T facility in Bedminster, New Jersey. Some of his original architectural drawings for 33 Thomas Street are labeled Project X. Wow. It was alternatively referred to as the Broadway Building. His plans describe the structure as a skyscraper to be inhabited by machines, and say that it was designed to house long lines telephone equipment and to protect it and its operating personnel in the event of an atomic attack. At the time the building was commissioned and built amid the Cold War, there were genuine fears in the U.S. about the prospect of a Soviet nuclear assault. So, there's more here, more information here. But also I wanted you to notice it says, after it was built, the unusual style of 33 Thomas Street attracted a lot of attention. Its dark, somewhat dystopian appearance contrasted dramatically with other buildings in lower Manhattan. Yet it proved popular, particularly among architecture buffs. So, this building at night, folks, is not even lit on purpose. It blends in with darkness. And that's what they want. They don't want this building to be seen in the dark. There's something so secretive about this building. Now, more than likely, it's because that they intercept information internationally with this with the equipment in this building. But also, the building right directly across or behind this building is, I forgot what floor it's on, I think the 23rd floor, is the FBI. So the FBI are using this building along and working with AT&T with the NSA. Okay? And they're intercepting who knows what. Who knows what they're intercepting? Okay? But just to be able to get in the building, just to be able to, it's just crazy. But there's a whole website here of information about this building. But what I found was very interesting is how the name 33 Thomas Street is 666. Also, I noticed that this intercom that everyone has to go to before they can go in the building, it doesn't say look into the camera. It says look into the mirror. That's kind of weird. It says Twin Guard is the company that produced this equipment here, right? Another thing that's interesting is the name Thomas means twin. Okay? And so I started doing some research on this company that put in this equipment for them, Twin Guard, and found out that they are very much involved in smart cities, very much involved in smart equipment and surveillance equipment, connecting with smartphones. Let me read a little bit of this to you. It says, as a leading company, Bosch offers innovative solutions for smart homes, smart cities, connected mobility, and connected industry. It uses its expertise in sensor technology, software, and services. Okay? Now, all this talk right now of 5G, all this talk about smart cities, and they've got this building that houses equipment that's probably beyond the technology that you and I are able to use, where they're intercepting. Who knows what they're intercepting? And now they're putting up these crazy, these crazy things all over the city of New York right now, and they're probably going to put them up all over the world, all over the United States. But nobody, and they're keeping that quiet too. They're very hush hush about these strange looking things. I don't have a picture of it right now, but I did a previous video on this. But nobody will say what those things are for. And when asked about them, they said that it has something to do with fiber optics. So without question, with Donald Trump, folks, they're setting up an infrastructure, a total, complete surveillance. Okay? And that's what this building's being used for. And I don't think it's by chance that this building, Titanpointe, the NSA's spy hub, I don't think it's by chance that when you put 33 Thomas Street, when you count that up, it's 666. Not to mention that 33 is a very well-known number for the Freemasons, 33 degree. So, folks, I'm going to tell you, there's a reason why this building has no windows. And it's not to protect just from a nuclear blast. It's because they don't want anybody looking in. That's why. And I told you how much surveillance and what's involved just to be able to get in the building. Just to get into the building, you have to go undercover. You cannot. It's crazy. I mean, this is something out of a dystopian, it's crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. So I thought that I would share this with my listeners because I do believe that, I really do. I believe Snowden was just scratching the surface of what's going on behind the scenes. And there's a big push on right now with Donald Trump and his administration to upgrade all the infrastructure with the government right now for 5G. Why? Why are they so interested in getting all this set up? Think about it, people. Because we know that the New World Order is emerging, and we know that this has to do eventually with the mark of the beast, does it not? Interesting how Jared Kushner owns a building, 666. And now he's in the White House with Donald Trump. And it's not by chance, people. 666. I mean, come on, that's not just a coincidence. It's stunning because AT&T is involved in that building too. So what is it that AT&T finds the number 666 so intriguing? That they would have it on their buildings. At least one of their buildings, it's plastered right on the building. But with this other building, it's secretive. It's coded in the street name. We're going to do some research on this Titanpointe. I want to do some research on that. Why they code named it Titanpointe. I think it has to do with its structure and that it looks so strong. I think because of that. But I'm going to do some more research on this. But I know, without any question, I'll tell you, I actually want to look this up. I'd like to look up this. Let me see if I can find it. Strange towers in New York. Let's see if I can find them here. Yeah, these things. Here you go. So these are very secretive. Okay? So my question is, could these towers, right? Let me see if I can get a better picture. Could these towers have something to do? Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. Could this tower right here, could this have something to do? And I wonder how close it is. Because I believe this is in Lower Manhattan. It may not be, I'm not sure. But it's Homeland Security. And could this be connected to this building? Right? Something's definitely going on behind the scenes with the FBI, and I don't think it has anything to do with making America safer. I really don't. Especially when you hear all this that's going on with Donald Trump and the collusion with Russia. You know, this is kind of... And then we heard that supposedly Obama tapped Donald Trump's office or in the White House before he left. And so all of a sudden they move all this stuff out of the White House while Donald Trump's away, and they do a house cleaning there at the White House. What they were doing was they were, without question, Donald Trump wanted the place swept for bugs, and not bugs like cockroaches either. That's right. They were looking for in any way that they were being surveilled or they were being wiretapped from what they call the deep state. So there's definitely something going on here in the United States when you've got the United Nations here in this country, the Council on Foreign Relations, and then you got this building, the At&T building here that houses the NSA. Remember, too, that the NSA, none of this was really in operation until after 9/11, right? Until the Twin Towers came down. Think about that for a moment. The name Thomas means twin. Think about that, the Twin Towers. You know, they like to do things within code. They like to do things esoteric. Okay? So there, without question, they are working towards a completely surveilled nation. And not to mention the whole world eventually. But, you know, this is just... I don't want to just be repetitious or just continue to rattle on here, but you know, I think this is stunning. I really do. All these secrets, right? How come they can't tell the American people what this building, what this tower is for? Why is it so secretive? And why do we, the American people, allow such secrets to go on in our country? Why? You know? I mean, we know there's secret societies running things behind the scenes already. It's like we're just letting them do whatever they want to do. And my understanding is the government works for us. So why is it that we're allowing the government to run rogue? Why are we allowing them to set up total, complete surveillance of the U.S. citizens? How come they can do that without our consent? How come it doesn't have to be done through Congress? And when it is done through Congress, how come a lot of times it's not, a lot of times it's not even through Congress. A lot of times it's actually, it's what do you call it? Executive orders. I don't want to sound like I'm ranting, people, but this is disturbing to me. It really is. Anyway, I think these towers are really creepy, be honest with you. Says they're, let me see what this says. It says they're popping up in tunnels and bridges. These crazy things are popping up in tunnels and bridges, and they're secretive. I mean, it's like New York has become the Gothic city or something. This is weird stuff. Weird stuff. Anyway, God bless you.